Welcome to the Antoy Show Survive and Thrive series, where you get information you can use to transform your life and business during coronavirus and beyond.
This is part 3 of a series for Mental Health Awareness Month. We will air one episode per week. Today's episode is Anxiety, Depression, and Coronavirus.
Welcome to the show, you guys.
Thank you.
How are you guys all doing today?
Glad to be here.
Let's start by introducing yourselves to everyone.
My name is Angel Moore. I'm a licensed clinical mental health counselor, and I am the owner of a Moore's Counseling Service, where we're here to help those with any mental challenges that they may have.
All right.
My name is Dr. Clinton Bullock, and I am the CEO and founder of Clinton Bullock Coaching. And I am a life coach, and I assist people in fulfilling their dreams and their goals. And I assist people in pushing their life ahead so that they may live a successfully professional and personal life.
Oh, awesome.
Hello, my name is Carrie Laylor. I'm a licensed professional counselor and certified anger management specialist. I am the owner of Agape Transformation Practice. We are a mental health and wellness center in Decatur, Georgia, and we work with the high achieving women who are juggling lots of plates and trying to make the world a better place in their own right, and don't find the time to really take care of themselves or to receive the support that they really need. So we allow them to come into our office or into our space and take off the masks so that they can really focus on themselves and get everything that they need.
Awesome. You guys are doing amazing work. The COVID-19 pandemic has affected people's health in many ways. It's created fear, stress, anxiety, depression, and much more in many people. Even people that haven't experienced mental health changes in the past are now feeling its various effects. Earlier on, Angel, you mentioned anxiety and depression. Let's talk a little bit about that.
I got more anxiety and depressed clients than ever before due to this, because they were so depressed. For those who, let's be real, some people lost their parents. So of course they're going to deal with depression. They lost their jobs. Can you imagine losing your job and your loved one all at the same time? So the depression was really, really hard. And some people, it was just situational depression, but depression nevertheless. And to have to sit in that and deal with that was really hard. Even watching the news constantly, that's going to bring on a lot of anxiety. With my depressed and anxiety clients, my job was to challenge those negative thoughts. I would tell them, so do some research, and then next week, can you come in and let me know what the research says, what the scientists are saying. The anxiety was really just based on what they heard constantly. Not saying that they didn't see things and these things wasn't true, but they didn't see how many people recovered from the virus. And that's what I needed them to look up. And that's what they did. And it was so calming for them, and we had to change those negative thoughts. Oh, I'm gonna get it. Okay, what happens if you get it? More than likely you will survive. And that's what they had to concentrate on.
Really quick, I want to go back on something. I really had to go look it up. I'm all about statistics. Since this is what I've just done for years and years, maybe even before this came along. So I just looked at the numbers. So there were 30 million people infected in the United States, 30,434,541. And then those who had died was 554,000, but I just got as of today. That's 0.01% of people that have actually died. Right? I mean, now of course, for those people that were affected, it doesn't mean something obviously. But I'm saying if you look at the whole, they didn't concentrate on the 30 million people
No.
who actually who lived, and that if you would have done that, our spirits will be different. Our spirits will be better. What we keep telling ourselves, the psychological aspect, the positive psychology is huge, but that's not what they do. What they do, they're focusing on the 500,000 people that have died as opposed to 30 million who had it and actually recovered. And that's what really gets me, because that positive psychology is not reinforced, the negative psychology that is.
Right.
And that really does bother me. I would love for them to put 10,000 names a day on the news of people who recovered. And I promise you, we'd be talking differently. We wouldn't be having the stresses that we do, in a sense. I'm not saying with financially, but at least the psychology would be different.
How can someone identify whether they're suffering from anxiety, depression, or how can they separate the thoughts? Is there a way to tell other than seeing a mental health professional, such as yourselves?
But for those who don't even realize and understand or know the symptoms of depression, some of the symptoms are like they isolate themselves. There's periods of crying, feeling hopelessness, no motivation, fatigue. They withdraw from friends and family. They may feel suicidal and extreme sadness, and that brings on that hopelessness and those periods of crying. So we need to recognize what those symptoms are. And like you said, admit to those symptoms and then reach out, or parents can see that in their children. Their children is going through having depressive episodes because they feel hopeless. And that's just some of the signs. If I wasn't talking to you right now, I remember all of them. But, those are some of the important signs of depression that we should look out for always with our loved ones.
Is depressed more like something happens and for that moment you're depressed versus like a clinical depression?
No, it's just a matter of words. I'm depressed and have suffered from depression. It's basically all the same. But what they're really referring to is that you're just sad. I'm depressed. Why are you depressed? I didn't do what X today or what have you. People use that. It's become a word that's been watered down because depression is actually a clinical term, as opposed to what people really want to say is that I'm just sad. That's what they want to say. And then that's what really is what happens when you actually say that you are depressed and you actually get diagnosed with depression. But people use it flippantly, and that's how we use it incorrectly, basically.
And so just to make a really clear distinction, like Dr. Bullock talked about, people use the word depression loosely. And yes, you could simply say I'm sad. A common term that is also used is like people have the blues. And so when you're diagnosed with depression, you are typically feeling certain symptoms for at least 2 weeks.
Right.
And beyond.
Yeah. Yes.
So there's a time frame.
Yes.
I know Angel talked about situational depression. Which is more like the blues. You're not motivated, you're feeling down, you're not feeling yourself, and you this is kind of new for you, but after a couple of weeks it goes away and you're back to yourself again, so you're not clinically depressed. And so that's the distinction, just to make and to know.
100%. Depression has to do with length of time, so you can feel sad, but if obviously something becomes chronic. And I would say, to add on to that, if you, again, and I think Angel gave light to this earlier, if it's also not just the time, which is huge, but also it's stopping you from achieving X, having been to work for 2 weeks. You have to take 2 weeks off of work because you feel, bad or something, that's something, or so it's like, what is it stopping you from doing that you would normally be doing? I haven't gone to work out. I do jujitsu, right? So I haven't done jujitsu in 2 weeks. I haven't done a thing. So it's time plus your avoidance of things that you would normally do.
Right.
Got it.
When you are really, you want to die, and you actively tried something to die, we know that you are clinically depressed and medication is absolutely needed And there is chronic depression where it is just, they've been dealing with it for years. But a lot of people are dealing with, when I say situational, like it's the coronavirus, I'm depressed, I can't go out to work, I can't go outside, like you said, I can't go work out, I can't go see my friends, I can't go dining. After this, they may be fine. But those who are who really have that sense of hopelessness, like there's nothing's going to have no motivation, fatigue, and all that. That's a big difference from a situational depression.
It seems like coronavirus would just make this so much worse because, as you were saying, they're already feeling like they want to withdraw. They don't want to go places. They don't want to go work, do the things they usually do. But then there's an environment that creates the support for you to even do that, because there is no gyms to go to. There is no, restaurants there. It's a conducive environment to support you even being more depressed, sounds like.
Yes, 100%.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
With my clients, when we're talking about feeling sad, feeling depressed, having the blues, I oftentimes have people really look into the eye of the storm, so to speak, because a part of what coronavirus or the pandemic brought is a halt to our avoidance techniques that we use, everything to just avoid the stuff that's going on in our world, to just kind of like be okay, to numb it, to not deal with it. And that works for a period of time. And it also is beneficial to just learn to be able to deal with the emotions directly and allow it to kind of wash through you versus constantly running from it. And so when clients are feeling sad, it's beneficial to learn that the sad emotion is not going to kill you. It's simply an emotion that's going to pass. And when you recognize, kind of like what Dr. Bullock was talking about before, when you look at your past, you've been sad before and you've survived, you are resilient, all of these things. So when you get it programmed in your mind that I can feel all of these emotions and it's not going to kill me, it's just going to pass and I'm going to continue forward and I'm going to be okay, that's helpful. That allows them to be empowered so that they're no longer having to run from these negative feelings and fill their lives with all of these noise and tactics and things to just kind of feel better for a moment.
And to answer your question about what to do about these stresses and depression, I think one of the things is to identify. So it's to not fear that you will be stigmatized, for example. I think that's huge. I've known people through COVID, they went to drinking, they went to drugs, they suddenly go into certain avenues. So if you just admit and say, I'm not acting the way that I used to. I used to run 5 times a week. I didn't used to drink. I didn't used to abuse my prescription drugs. The only way, like they say, an alcoholic can't become better until that person admits that they're an alcoholic. So you have to have this thing where you properly understand that something different is happening to me and I don't like it and it's dysfunctional. Also, check in with your people who are support. Talk to people. Isolating yourself is the worst thing you can do. So even if it's just through Zoom, and I think we're opening up now more, but still there are people definitely who, for example, I give an example of my grandmother who was in assisted living and to little still can't go see. I think having those Zoom sessions or what have you is really huge. Hey, grandma, I love you. Want to let you know that you all is good and so forth. And I think that just reinforces that people still think about you. And one of the best ways to actually feel better is to not think about yourself. People get, oh, woe is me. Oh my God, I'm feeling like this. And this is what I've been doing volunteer work all over the world since I was 15 years old. And I right now, when I'm giving information, I'm helping people achieve the best things in their life. I feel great. Of course, we all got issues. We all got problems. I mean, last year was one of the worst years I ever had personally. But clienting people, that was therapeutic for me. It really was, to know that I had a hand in advancing and other people's lives and helping them in their psychology so that they can push through in their world. So I just want to say, if we become very self-centered, and I don't necessarily mean that in a bad way, ego is more of just like, these are just my problems, I'm going through this. But when you actually give to other people, for example, if you have children, giving to your children is really good, is really huge. Think about other people. One of the other things is, really quickly, leave an audio text. Like, I have WhatsApp, some people have iPhones. And so you don't have to talk to the person, or just because you're busy, but say, hey, Tammy, I hope you're doing well. I just want to check in on you and make sure you're great. I just want to know that, during these hard times, that you're loved. And, call me whenever, talk to you soon. Like, just leave a message with someone and let them know that they are thought about. And during these times, that means a lot. So I think there are definite things, but one of the biggest things is to give of yourself when you think that, you're going through a hard time yourself. Does that make sense?
Yes. You guys have been awesome. Let the audience know where they can find out more about you guys.
They can find me on Amore's Counseling Services.com. And if they need to reach out, I'm available for you.
ClintonBullock.com, or at Coach Clinton Bullock, at Coach Clinton Bullock on Instagram.
You can always go online at agapetransformation.com and get all of our information. We also have a Facebook page, which is Agape Transformation.
Thank you guys so much for coming on the show today and sharing so much information. It was great to kind of reflect on the journey we've been on with this coronavirus and how it's affected us. And it's, I know it's going to really help a lot of people to get the information for you guys. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
This is part 3 of a series for Mental Health Awareness Month. Catch other episodes.
If you're experiencing anything we talked about today, please reach out for help. You don't have to face this alone. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you saw on this episode, make sure you share it with everyone. And if you want more inspiring content, go to youtube.com/The Antoy Show, mangoseed.tv, and antoygrant.com. See you guys soon.